Hello guys, welcome to our channel. So, firstly, I want to ask, how did you guys enjoy this episode, the part two of this reunion?
Oh my God,
Are
it
we
was a
live?
lot.
Are we actually
Yes.
live? Because from my end, it didn't go live. Okay, cool. That's fine. Okay, no worries then.
Well, I felt it
So,
was a lot. It was a lot. It was so much going on.
Mm.
So I'm like, okay, I got to remember everything that they're doing, they're saying, and it was a lot.
how about you, recaps? How was the episode, the part two reunion?
Do you know what? I felt like it was a lot, and I wish they didn't edit it too heavily because it was hard to follow at times. It was
Mhm.
like someone would say something, and then you're like, okay, let's get to the bottom of it, and then it's shifted to a different topic. I know they were trying to limit it to 2 episodes for the reunion, but I just kind of felt like it was choppy at times. Um but and it was very awkward as well to watch, to be honest. That's how I felt.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, for me, I felt like it was, I don't know, just like I felt like for the part one, I didn't really enjoy it. Most of the things I already knew what was going on, so it felt like I was rewatching the show again. So I didn't enjoy the episode at all. Well, let's dive into the episode itself. Like this ladies, this face off between Drew and Courtney. I felt like they shouldn't have added it because yeah, in the part one, we already saw most of the face off between Courtney and Drew. Then coming here again was just still playing Courtney and Drew again. I felt like it was just a repeat that was not necessary for me to watch again after they already played out the quarrel or the fight
A hundred
between Drew
percent.
and
Yeah, it was almost like you guys showed us everything. Like, why do we have to continue again from this part? Like, I just like, yeah, like scratch it out, please. But even if they wanted to, they didn't have to show that whole bit. It was a bit too long for me. I just wanted to get
Mhm.
into basically.
Yeah, I felt
Yeah.
that we seen that part between Drew and Courtney. Didn't we see that in part one?
We did.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We did. I
Wait a
remember
minute. Am I
everyone talking
watching the
about it.
same? Am I?
Like,
I
oh, I
felt like
love
I
how
was
Drew
watching
cleared
part of.
her.
Yeah, I felt like I was watching part of part one again, and I had to like
Mm,
stop my television and like, okay, what part is this? You know. But yeah, that was
yeah.
just a waste of TV time.
So
They
waste of
really,
TV
they,
time.
they really probably didn't have any clips at this point. Like, they had to max this one out because they had nothing to show. That's what's given.
Yeah. I feel like they didn't really have anything for the episode. They were just trying to like, make up things because we started getting to see they started talking about science issue and how she lost the baby. I thought we also talked about that last week.
Mm,
We did.
I thought I was shocked. Like she said she spoke about these. Listen, the child. At first I was like, I'm guessing myself. Probably I forgot what happened last week's episode, but I was like, hey, what I remember, yeah, we talked about it. We saw it last week. The only thing that we didn't talk about was the fact that they asked her whether her mom and sister had moved out of the house. That's the only part I felt like we didn't get to
that
know
was.
from last week's episode.
Mhm. Yeah. Honestly, they really must have been scrambling for footage. And they just thought, you know what, people are not going to notice. Let's just put it all together and just try to get as much views as we can for the. I think that's what it is. Because it just felt, honestly, it was very lackluster, like the whole season was. Um,
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting much considering how crappy the season was. So I really did not have any expectations that it was going to be good. So I'm glad I didn't have expectations because I think if I had expectations, I would have been pissed off.
So should have a pistol. Um, um, no, I don't understand. When did Kenya decide that she wanted to adopt? Like, I felt like maybe she said that because of the backlash that has happened during the season, where people were like, why is she wanting to have a kid with Mark's sperm? So she decided to say, oh, okay, I want to adopt now, because she never always mentioned that she wanted to adopt. She always mentioned she wanted to have Mark's child. So I was surprised she actually said she wanted to adopt now.
Mm.
I
I
was,
think I think carrying it was important to her, or carrying the baby was important to her. And I think when she thought about it, because I think remember when she was going to the doctors to see if she can carry again, I
Mm-hmm.
feel
yeah.
like that was something that was important to her to carry. But then if she can't carry, then she's probably thinking like, "Do you know what else can I do?" And also it seems like Mark, I don't know the ins and outs of their court case or whatnot, but if you think about the fact that he's trying to take her back to court because of the alleged situation that happened when Marlo kicked the door down or tried to kick the door, right? I feel like she's realizing that she needs to cut ties with him. She cannot keep lingering, or because what if he now applies to get full custody of both kids? She's going to
True.
be a mess, you know? Like, and what if he gets it?
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So I
That's
think
a
she's
good
trying
point.
to up like, yo, I need to cut ties with this lunatic, in my opinion.
That's a good
um,
point.
I was surprised, but I prefer this because I was literally tired of her talking about having a child with his
Yeah.
sperm. So I was literally happy that she decided that, okay, yeah, I want to adopt. But she's saying that she wants to. I thought she was like she wanted to have that, from baby to grow up with her child with the other daughter. But she's saying she wants to adopt from 3 years, because when
Hmm.
Sherry asked her, she said, yeah, from 3 years. Like, is she changing too much of her preferences? A
Mm,
lot.
yeah. I I don't know. I think it's one of those things where sometimes like you think about it, okay, you get the opportunity to choose, right? So like when you're adopted,
Yeah.
you get the opportunity to choose. You can choose the age group, whatever you want, right? And I feel like there's an element of that, as opposed to if you have the kid, it's non-negotiable. You have to be with the kid from the start, really, unless you decide to give the baby up, right? So I think it's one of those things that because she now is feeling like, okay, I have this choice, this is a decision I'm going to make, then she feels like, okay, now I can make a decision and say, okay, this is what my preference would be, as opposed to then when it was like, if you push your baby out, that's your baby from day one. You know what I mean? Like you can't be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna leave you until you're 3 before I start looking after you. And I think maybe that's the element here.
Hmm. And speaking of Kenya, this beef between
Mm.
her and Sanya, talking about the friendship thing, I don't understand. How do you feel about Sanya saying that Kenya is not really a friend to her? Or I didn't even think they were ever friends. I just thought they were in a relationship of, oh, we're in the same, we're in this show together, so we have to just accommodate each other. That's what I thought was going on between Sanya and Kenya. So I was surprised when I was hearing friendship. I mean, they have a different definition of friendship than I do.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I honestly don't think they're friends. I don't think they've ever been friends. I think they've tried to become cordial enough, a little bit more than co-workers, but I don't think it's there. And now that being said, I will say this. I don't know if you wanted to talk more about, move on to the bit about her not reaching out or saying Kenya did
Yeah,
not
it's part
reach
of
out.
the things I wanted to talk about.
Okay, so my perspective is this, right? If someone is going through something, you reaching out once is not enough, right? Even if they don't respond, text them. If you call them and they
Mm-hmm.
don't pick up, text them. Do something, right? Because they could be like, what if the day you called her, she was bawling her eyes out and couldn't pick up, right? Like,
True.
why not call multiple times? Why not message her? Even if you can't, even if you call her 5 times and she doesn't pick up, send her a text message and say, "Hi, Sanya. I'm so sorry about what happened. I hope I'm going to check up on you again whenever you're in the mood to talk. Please reach out or let me know and I'll give you a call." Something, right? Like, you can't tell me that you couldn't drop a text message or anything, or flowers at her door, whatever.
Yeah, that
Even
part
if
totally
you guys
off me.
Exactly. Even if you guys are not friends, even if it's a co-worker thing, if anyone at my job had something happen to them that was of that magnitude and I was aware of, I will reach out to them. It doesn't matter whether or not we're friends. And so I think, you know, there was a gap there. I think that was something that she should have done. I think she might have been one of those people that would be like, I called you once, you didn't pick up, or I called you a few times that day, you didn't pick up. Well, that's your business. But I don't think that is what should happen, especially when someone is going through a traumatic experience. That's just my personal opinion on that.
Yeah. I also feel the same way you felt because she trying to make an excuse of, oh, I called you, you didn't pick. I was like, excuse me. Even if they are not friends, even if I was looking at them the way that I classify their friendship as, I
Mm-hmm.
believe because you guys work together for how many years now, you see that kind of situation. That's a very sad situation and a very bad situation that someone could be in. Someone with that kind of situation, at least let it be that you have called several times and the person just purposely ignored your call. You'll be like, okay, fine. Then you throw in a text message.
Mm-hmm.
Fine. You don't want to pick my call. I'm going to throw in a text message. Let it be that, okay, fine. You don't want to pick my call, but you're seeing my text message. At least I have tried. You know that you have tried. But you didn't send any text message. You only called once and you are here saying, I did try to call you. I'm like, I felt like Kenya is just too full of herself to understand that she messed up there.
Yeah.
And she should have just simply said, I am sorry. I didn't know you felt that way. Because every single person on even the people that are not close to her,
Even Drew, apparently.
even you
Mm.
that is not close to her, reached out, sent something, trying to be like, I'm consoling you because we know how painful that could be as a mom, as you are yourself. And you yourself that you know that you when you were pregnant you almost lost your life in the process, and you know how these things could feel, like how you could feel about these things, and you're making an excuse that is like, I just felt like that was a very dumb excuse that cannot stand anywhere in court. Like it's,
Yeah.
it's not it's not making sense to me. And the way she was
Thing is,
like,
yeah, go
yeah,
ahead. No, go ahead.
and the way she was just like, hey, cold, like trying to make a case for herself. I was like,
Mm.
really?
Not good
She
enough.
really trying to make a case for herself. Like me, the first thing I would do, I won't try to make a case for myself. Even if I did call you so many times, the first thing I would say is, I am sorry if you felt like I didn't reach out. Like, if I just felt like it's classic Kenya,
Mm.
nothing is everly her fault. Everybody's always wrong. She's right.
Yeah.
I kind of look at it like Kenya really doesn't like Sonya too much. You know what I'm saying? Because I haven't seen where, they shared a lunch date or a phone call or, hey, girl, I'm doing this, come here. I mean, every time you would see Sonya and Kenya together, it would be a group setting.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of feel like Kenya really doesn't care for Sonya too much. Yeah, she works with her, but as far as inviting her into her world, I don't think she's willing to share that part of her. with Sanya.
I think she may be
What?
a
What?
little bit
We're
jealous
not
of
even
her.
talking about different. Okay, she went to talk shoprite.
No, go ahead. I'll go ahead. I'll say it after you're done.
I'm
I
trying
was
to say something to
choking on
living for
something.
your girls. Hey, I was trying to say something to living for your girls. I was see. I feel like yeah. I'm not saying that they should be close or they were close, but I feel like for the fact that you guys work together, it's not everybody you work together with that is close to you that you're friendly with or you like their characters or their behaviors. But I feel like in that kind of situation, that is a very, very sad situation for someone to be at. I feel like she should have tried to reach out.
I
Everybody
agree.
else did.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. But I'm just seeing it from the side where, hey, if she reached out once and she was like, hey, I'm not going to reach out anymore because you didn't answer the phone or you're ignoring me, you know, Kenya, look, she's touchy already to begin with. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just saying, I observed them not ever having like close communication with just the two of them out doing something together, you know, other than the group setting that they would always have with all the other girls.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know what? I personally think that Kenya is self-absorbed. And I think, yes, she did try to call her maybe once or whatnot. But then when she didn't reach her, she just said, well, I tried to call her. Go see it when she sees it. But I feel like in these situations, even if you're not friends with somebody or you're just colleagues or whatever, like, even if it's just texting after, just saying
Right.
thinking of you. It's the same way, like, I don't know. Maybe that's just like my personal mentality, but like just
Yeah.
Right. I,
thinking
I
of
mean, I completely understand. That's
whatever,
that's a lot of women's
simple.
mentality, but when you have somebody who doesn't really care for you, you know, and got so many other things going on, it's like, hey, if I touched you and I said, hey, you know, um, I wanted to reach out to you and I didn't get a chance to reach out to you, then I never got a chance to reach back out to you. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't her priority to make Sonya her priority. That's all I'm saying. But I do agree that she should have reached out more than once, sent some flowers, something, a basket of fruit, something.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I wouldn't be surprised if Kenya was a little jealous of Sanya, because Sanya has a husband, she has a family, she's close with her sister, close with her mom, and that's kind of what people used to accuse Kenya of with in regards to Phaedra years ago. That she was
Mhm.
jealous that Phaedra had a husband, she had a family. So there
Right.
could be some of that going on because she has never really given Sanya a chance. Even when
Right.
Sanya's first season, she's always kind of been standoffish towards her. And, Kenya's situation didn't work out with her husband. And look at Sanya. She's in a very, seem to be loving relationship, getting ready to have another baby. And then you did hear Kenya say, yeah, we talked about us having our babies at the same time. So now
Mm-hmm.
to see that Sanya is pregnant again, I'm just wondering if that's an issue. And then also I want to comment on, does Kenya's face look different to you guys? The side of her face, her chin? That picture
Yeah.
that you had up, her chin looks different. That's all.
Really?
You had another picture, the first one you had.
Oh, the one. Oh.
Yeah, look at her
Yeah.
chin.
Yes.
Probably she had work done.
Or
That
Like
does she
dress
have
fits
like a jaw,
horribly.
maybe a chin implant.
Not a chin
or jaw
implant. Oh
issue?
gosh. A chin
Mm.
I mean,
implant.
her face looks real elongated.
It
Yeah, but why would
does.
anyone do that to themselves? So, like, I'm
Right.
just saying,
She didn't
I
need
don't.
any work. She looks a little bit like little Kim and around her nose and her
Oh,
cheek.
Do you
From that
think?
not
side
not
angle.
kidding.
Well, sometimes when people
Uh,
do something around their mouth, it changes the way their jaw looks, their chin looks. So I wonder if it's some around there. It might not necessarily be the chin, but now it's drawing more attention to the chin. Because now
Yeah.
she's almost looking like Natalie Nunn. I like
Natalie,
that.
oh,
oh
you're
my
right.
God.
You're right.
With a I like Natalie. Hi,
I do
Natalie.
like Natalie,
I do
and I
like
like
Natalie.
Megan. I love
Oh yeah, I
Megan.
love Megan too.
Megan can fight, can't she?
Oh yeah. Oh, she Megan with the hands.
Exactly.
Oh my God. Then another thing that I felt like was also unnecessary on today's episode was this thing with
Oh,
Kandi and Marlo. I was like, I'm over this. We
Yes.
you
talked
know what?
about this for 4 episodes.
Yeah, and also, do you? I feel like this is also the first season where a lot is happening on social media as well. Like normally, I don't remember this much or this many interactions on social media. All these, or maybe I just can't remember it. But I just feel like I've seen this whole thing play out so many times on the show and also off the show as well that I'm just bored of it. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, I I was like, are we gonna talk about this again? I was
And
really
also, if
tired of
we're
the
going to talk
storyline
about
on the
it,
show.
let's get to the bottom of it. Because I'm not satisfied with Marlo's reason. Marlo, why did you text Kandi 2 days after talking about get that bag? That's the kind of
Exactly.
question I want to know. That's the question I want answers to. So for
You
me,
know, maybe she's
I
just
feel
trying to be
like
shady.
because I just think, I personally feel like Marlo just used it for a storyline. I don't think it was something. I don't know if you guys watched some interviews with Marlo and Shereé, and what they kept saying is like they put Kandi to work this season, blah, blah, blah. And I feel like they probably sat together trying to figure out how Shereé will pay her bills and then thought, you know what, let's come for Kandi this season,
Oh no.
let's create the buzz, you know, something like that. This is
Something
all
like,
in my opinion and allegedly. Let me put that in there.
why she have to say she ready to pay her bills?
Well, she needs a job, doesn't she? Allegedly,
Oh
she
my
still
God.
hasn't turned a profit. That's what she said. Her
Oh,
words, not mine.
Yeah.
according to her,
True.
businesses take time.
And it does, but she's not doing anything. She
Not
put
doing
that
anything
effort into produce to come up with the
to
she needs. Maybe she would be making a profit. Put that
and
energy
and but
to
do you believe in the fact that when Candy said that the reason why she feels like Marlo was coming for her is because Marlo is jealous of her?
yes. Marlo wants that check, but she knows she can't work like Candy. Just saying. And also, Marlo feels like Candy does not deserve in my opinion, I better put this, but Marlo feels like she doesn't deserve how much she's getting paid for Real Housewives of Atlanta. I feel like that's where it stems from. She feels like she doesn't deserve all the accolades, everything, all the recognition, all the attention Candy gets. When she feels like she's bending over backwards and doing all she can do to stay on the show and bring it on the show.
Yeah, but I kind of disagree with that because I mean, like I like Candy at times. Candy is like a OG. She's been in the game since she was what, 15 years old. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? So she everything that she created out of her brain, I feel that she deserves. If everything goes well, everything goes well. We all have that creativity within ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Marlo, I don't know where you were at the age of 17, but you should have been like trying to get your hustle on. You know what I'm saying? And maybe she did have her hustle on and it
She's
was
always
just failed hustle after failed
pressed.
hustle. But I'm just saying, I don't want to knock Candy simply because she has her hands in everything as she should. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? I'm actually proud of her, for all the things that she happened to accomplish within all these centuries, you know?
100%. Like Marlo needs to bring out a notepad and take some notes. But then I feel like Marlo doesn't want to do the work. She wants to be a baby girl, and that's the
Yeah,
life.
she said it. She said she wants to live a soft life.
Exactly, and soft life, may or may not pay as well as it would pay if you
Get your
rolled up
hands
your
dirty.
sleeves to work.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the fact that when they were arguing this thing, I was already getting exhausted. But what was Drew's issue by butting into it? Because I feel like Drew butting into the argument was unnecessary. Like I thought she just wanted to have her own goal and Malo, and she did not need to put her mouth into this talk in any shape or form. That's my own opinion. Oh.
I'll be honest, it was so choppy. I didn't even know she butted in. So maybe someone needs to like remind me because I did not pick that
Oh,
up. Can't remember now.
oh,
she
goodness.
she did actually butt him. She did. Like she was going on Marlo. And I was like, excuse me, young lady, it's about Kenya and Kandi and Marlo. Why did you have to come in here? Like, why did you have to put your thoughts? I said, like Kenya was even Kandi was even trying to say, you know what? Me and Marlo, we can be cordial, except if she tries to like come at me, then I'll come back her back at with the same energy. But I don't understand why Drew just wanted to attack Marlo. I feel like she just dislikes Marlo, and once she sees an opportunity to come at Marlo, she just I'm gonna grab the opportunity and run with it.
Yeah, but do you remember when Marley was shouting in her face? She's like, I'm gonna get my lick back. And that's pretty much what I think she's trying to do.
Oh my god. Oh my god. But I felt at this stage, see, I felt like during half of the show, I could have done without it. I was
Yeah.
like, this was poor, very poor. I was like,
They could have just
I
condensed it to one reunion and let's just be done with it.
exactly. It's not by force. I say this. It's not by force to do a 2 part reunion. It's
Mm-hmm.
not a custom.
Or
It's
have
not
it,
a
you can leave it and say there's no reunion. We're rebooting the whole show. Do you know what I mean? Like, at
my
the end of the day,
god.
if the personally, I think for me, I would always think quality. If something isn't that good, because there's no one in their right mind. Okay, let me rephrase that. Most people in their right mind would not think that this season of Real Housewives was great. So
No.
if you are a producer and you're doing all of this and you're the executive producer and you're watching this back and you're thinking this is crap, yet you still think, oh, let's deliver this to the viewers and put them through this torture. It doesn't make any sense. So they should have thought about
Did you even
rebooting at that
did
stage.
you see the ratings for the part 1 reunion?
Terrible.
Ter-
Terrible.
Terrible for a reunion.
Wow.
Usually they get over 1 mil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you are averaging 700. Like that's bad
That means no one
for
actually
a.
cares.
So 300,000 people decided to do something else, huh?
I'm
Yeah.
telling you, for a whole reunion of the Real Housewives, like one of the OGs of the Real Housewife franchise, you had 700 on the part 1 reunion. Wasn't it enough for them to have said, you know what? Let's if it was possible to just even make the part 2, even if it's a 30 minutes show, let's
Mhm.
just put the important part and end it there. You then went ahead and gave us this nonsense in this part 2, and and you expect to get more than 700K views.
Yeah. I
How?
think they were really hoping that like Ty and Drew will pull in the numbers. And I think to an extent, if Ty and Drew thing didn't wasn't there, they wouldn't even have the numbers they currently
Yeah,
have. They
they need
probably
to
would have
pay
ended up
Drew,
like 300,000.
and they need to pay Drew and
They need to
Ralph
pay her.
enough money because they
Oh, forget
revived
Ralph.
as
They need to not pay Ralph a cent. Sorry.
Ralph.
Forget Ralph.
Do
Ralph
you
is
guys
dead.
believe that storyline? Do you guys really believe that these two are having all of these problems?
A
Or do
hundred
you
percent.
You do? I don't
A
know. For some
hundred,
reason,
a hundred
she's a
percent.
good actor. He seems like a good actor. And the way that they're, because all of a sudden, Drew is sitting next to Andy the whole rest of the season, not the beginning, but the end of the season is all about Drew. It seems as though they're really trying to push her as the face of the show now. The show seems to be trying to get younger. This whole thing with Courtney, it just seems so just well orchestrated. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if they did not have problems in the past, but this just seems to be just so over the top. Just so over the top. And the way he just sat there the whole time, no affect on his face,
Yeah,
just
I
sitting there.
noticed
And then
that.
Yeah,
she
but
sings this song. Why is she singing a song?
oh
Just
my,
Well,
Yeah, but think about it, guys. The, this man has always been like that. How many times did he sit in Drew's face talking about you deserve a Lunchable? Like, think
that's
about.
why it
Let's
just
think
seems
about.
so unreal.
Let's
His
think about.
behavior just seems so unreal to me.
No,
Like
but no,
like they
but I've
crafted it.
seen people. I've seen people like Ralph. To me, his behavior is not like. Don't get me wrong, it's terrible. But what I'm saying is, it's not like shocking in terms of what I personally have witnessed, right? And so for me, I'm just like he clearly does not. One does not like his wife. That much is clear.
yes.
That man does not like that woman, right?
Mm-mm.
He cannot stand her. And also, I feel like in a way I actually I don't like to label people, so I'm not going to do that, but I actually feel he has issues when it comes to emotion. One, he doesn't care about how she feels. Like, the thing is, I can also imagine how frustrating it must be for Drew, because it's like you're upset and people think you're acting because you're a really good actress. But I genuinely believe, like, what I got from the reunion, that wow, like, this is pretty crazy. Like, I feel like she loves the man, and I feel like she's still covering up for him. I feel like there's a whole lot more that we don't know, that I need her to
Mhm.
spill. Please tell it all.
but before we go diving into the Drew and Ralph stuff, this situation here where Alison Drew's sister was trying to come into the room,
Mm-hmm.
in my own perspective, I felt like my first question was, what was she doing here? What's her business in Ralph's room? You are trying to chase your sister out from this guy. So what exactly was she? What was her purpose for coming here? I know probably she was trying to challenge Courtney, but I felt wrong place, wrong time,
Oh
wrong
no, have you
move.
guys seen the interview she had with Make It Make Sense?
Yeah,
Okay, so what she said was she was walking past and then she saw Courtney and Ralph hug. And did
yeah,
you guys
they
pick up
showed
on
it.
the hug? Right. Did you see the hug?
Yeah, I did see the hug.
Yes.
Oh, fine. It was giving kissing cousins, in my opinion, and I just right.
It's a giving kissing couple.
Right?
Oh,
So she saw that and she's like, what the heck is that? So she's like, I might interrupt that ish.
Mm.
but my question is, was it necessary? Because even if you try to disrupt whatever thing that is going on, at the end of the day, I felt like I felt like her main focus should have been her sister, not concerned about what Ralph is doing with whosoever he's doing with it with. Because she's going through a divorce. Your sister is
Yeah,
going through a divorce from this man. So it should not be your concern if he's hugging somebody, if he's kissing another person. What you should be doing is trying
I
to
get
encourage your
that.
sister to get the strength to leave the man alone.
But I think it's
Because
easier
even
said
even if
than
even
done,
if she
sis.
fights with Courtney here, she got insulted here, she got the door almost banged at her. If tomorrow Drew decides to stick with this man, that is the end. That's her decision. She can't change that decision for her. And I also feel like there's this underlying hatred between Allison and um
Courtney.
Ralph. Like,
Oh, okay.
no, Allison and Ralph. Like,
Okay.
the banning from his household for a long while. So I feel like there's this underlining, they
Resent.
have this.
Anger.
hatred already between them, and she's trying to project it. And I feel like that is not what she should be doing. I know you don't like Ralph, but your main focus should be your sister. If I was the one there, I saw Courtney hugging Ralph, I would pass on and go to my sister, because I know my sister is having it worse. Because there's no way she will be happy to see a lady that disrespected her children, said bad things about her, is laughing and joking with the husband that we all know she loves, or she still loves. I would be going to my sister to see how she's doing, how she's faring, than trying to challenge them. That's how I just felt here, because this challenge did not make sense to me.
I feel you, sis, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna interrupt that ish. I will absolutely interrupt that ish, and I'll tell you why. Because this woman, Courtney, has been brought around me in my face, right? So remember,
Yeah.
you guys said you watched it, and she talked about how Courtney, they all hung out together, right? So I would be like, you sat in my face and you said you guys are cousins, and then I'm seeing you all hugging, like kissing cousins. I want to know what's going on. I'm gonna interrupt that ish. Of course, I'm gonna check on my sister before and after, but I will interrupt that ish. We need to get to the bottom of it. Are you cousins or not? Because personally, I think that would be information my sister needs to know. Especially if my sister is out here crying about wanting to get back with the man.
My thing is, why would you want to get back with somebody who constantly talks about your mom, your sister, your dad? He criticizes you. He ices you out. Why would you want to get back with him? I,
It's the
I,
same
Probably.
a lot of women stay in abusive relationships is because usually it starts off most times not in that way. You get, you get into this cloud where you're head over heels for this person, and then they start to chip at your self-esteem little by little. Over the years, you get to a point where you don't have the strength to walk away, and then you have to build yourself back up. It's the thing is, it's easy for us to say because we're not like in a situation where people are like, you have someone that you love every single day, little by little, chipping away at your self esteem.
I mean, I understand. I've been there, but at some point in your life, I mean, because let Drew tell you, she said, "Hey, we started this way from Chicago, you know, all them years ago, and then you're bringing it here to Atlanta, the same situation." You know what I'm saying? She said, "Years after years after year, you have disrespected me, and you have broken me down and broke my heart. Like, okay, when are you going to love yourself? You go
Yes,
into a relationship loving yourself, right? Before you love that other person, you love yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
that's
So, and I understand that a man can get in your head and he can make you second guess your own self. I understand that. I get it. I've been there. But I'm just saying, at what point is it unhealthy to continue a relationship like that?
oh, it's definitely very, very unhealthy. I think that's part of the reason why, in my opinion, Ralph did not want Alison around, because
Mhm.
I think one thing that people like to do, I don't want to call him the A word, but one thing people like that tend to do is they isolate you from people that they know have an influence in your life.
Oh, of course.
And so with someone like Allison, Allison has a very strong voice. And Drew respects her sister. You can just tell, right? And
Right.
so I feel like that's part of the reason why she she was banned from the house. And I think now that she's now coming around more, I think Drew is really going to find the strength. And I can see that. I think she is working through it. It's going to take
Are
some
you
time.
sure? I
Girl, my
think
heart
we're
like
seeing different things.
like
I,
like
I think
you
we
want
were seeing different things, because me watching, I was like,
He
um
definitely
why
wants
is
to
she
come back.
bothered?
That's
You know,
true.
the way she was speaking, she was like, you've done things to me, you've done this to me, you did not want to adopt my son. I'm like, why did you have to bring up these things if you literally don't care about this man again? Who cares if he adopts your son? Why would you want that kind of person to adopt your son that is not even his? The father of the child wants to be
Mm.
involved in his life.
Yeah, I
That
think.
that was also giving me that was also giving me a vibe that as much as we always want to see Ralph, as much as Ralph is a very big problem, Drew also has like a percentage of the issues they have in this marriage. Because why are you still pushing about the fact that he didn't adopt a child? It's a different thing if the father of the child is out there denying and not trying to take care of the child. The father of the child is very much in the picture. So why did you want Ralph to adopt him? Like I felt like if somebody else had brought up the topic, I'll be like, oh, that's not your stuff to talk about. But she talking about it as a talking point for herself on the reason why the marriage broke down. I was like, if there are things you should talk about your marriage breaking down, it should not be about the fact that he decided not to adopt the boy.
Yeah, but think about it. He
Yeah.
did say he wanted to adopt the kid initially.
Mm-hmm.
And so if
Yeah.
you're saying you wanted to adopt the kid and then you go on to write a stepfather book or whatever he wrote, parenting book about her kid, right? Remember, he even did the book and did not even inform her about it until later on. And then was saying he was going to put her in the forward or something weird like that, right? And then you now want to
Yeah.
change tune and all of a sudden say you don't want to adopt a kid. It raises questions, one, and two, the thing about it is this man, so-called man that may or may not be in the child's life, so we don't necessarily know if, like, because also editing, she could have responded to that point, because after he said that, she didn't exactly say anything according to what we saw. It moved on to a different topic. So do we know for certain whether or not this man is actually now in the kid's life, and also was the man always in the kid's life? I don't think so. I think perhaps if he is now, it's probably a more recent development, right? But
Mhm.
even
Yeah.
at that, right? Even at that, in the divorce petition, he does not even claim Josiah at all, right? And this is a kid that you wrote a book about parenting and then say that this is your kid. So it's like, which is it? The way you're moving is not consistent. And also, if someone spoke on someone or my kid or anyone that I'm taking care of, I will not be letting that slide, even if they are my freaking cousin. Let's even assume they're actually cousins, right? So I
Mhm.
just think his actions are showing that it's beyond that.
But um this stuff that happened in this episode, and I one thing that pissed me off the most was the accusation they were throwing at each other. Like, please, dead me with accusations without substance. Like, don't come here telling me he's texting this, oh, she's texting this. Like, bring your evidence that is there's no way you can deny it. And the fact that we might he might have been sending evidence to Shereé, I for what reason? But I'm
Yep.
surprised. At first, she accused Courtney, then she said it was Ralph. So I'm kind of surprised. Who is the person literally? Is it Courtney? Is it Ralph that sent the text messages? But they were reading the text messages, and it kind of, did you see Candy's face at one particular point, and she was like, maybe there was something juicy there. That she was like, this cannot really be like a normal relationship.
But I
Did you?
personally, I personally think Candy is different. Like, if Candy did not go to the extent that she went through in saying that, oh no, she wasn't lying and the whole tie thing, I would believe that Candy was not being vindictive. Because Kenya read the messages and said, I don't think there's anything that what's it called? Uh
Incriminating.
right? Because the thing is, let's be honest. Sometimes you have friends you talk to, and the conversation is, "Hey, sweetie, hate this, hate that," right? Just
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
because this person on the other end is gay or lesbian does not mean that I am having anything to do with that. If it's incriminating, show me the messages. Let's see
But
it.
that particular part. Kenya didn't see that part. Then she was like, "Oh, let me see." Oh, she now said, "Oh, I didn't see this part."
Well, even Andy said it was something on there in
Yes, even Andy
discriminating.
said that, wow, this is very looking like there's something going. I feel like they were trying not to say it to us to understand, but they knew with the text that something was kind of going on between Drew and Ty.
But
It
Drew
might
didn't
not be,
seem concerned.
it might not have been like a full-blown cheating. Maybe it was emotionally, she was emotionally cheating on Ralph with him, with
I
her, sorry.
Well, I
reported.
mean, Drew didn't deny none of the text
She
messages,
didn't.
and then
She
you
just
kind
said
of
she's
think like,
impressed.
where did they come from? It had to come off of Drew's phone or Ty's phone. Who had privy to their
It
phones?
was from Drew's phone.
Okay, Ralph had privy to Drew's phone.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And she
Yeah.
didn't seem concerned at all. She didn't even ask, "Oh, let me see them." She just sat there
Yeah,
like she had nothing to hide. That's why I'm just kind of wondering, is this real? Or or,
That's
or have they have they conjured up this whole thing so that now we are focusing on them when just 2 years ago people were saying how corny she was, people were not interested in her story, and now we have devoted the last few episodes to her and him, and then see
Right.
how stoic he looked.
yeah,
It just I
emotionless.
yes, and then
See,
she would
even
just give
like,
cheers. Did we ever say that
a
again?
robot had a better, a robot had better this thing than him. Facial
he's
expression.
always
Shop right,
looked like
you were saying
that.
something.
He's always looked
No, I
like
think
that.
it's a delay. I was listening to you. What did you say?
Oh, shop.
Yeah, it's a
I was like,
delay.
okay. His face was like, I think a robot had more facial expressions than him.
Oh.
It
But he's
did,
always
Yeah.
but
like that.
And then
He's
her
always
it was,
dramatic walking out, and "I'm not doing this, I'm
oh
not
my
doing this," and
god!
then you come back and you sing a song.
I felt
So
like
that
I
was
was
a way
watching.
to get her
I
music
was
out
watching a
there.
series from Lifetime.
no,
Exactly. And
guys.
then she gets her song out there,
I,
and then,
I
"Why
guess
did you write the song?" "Oh, I wrote the song." It's just like, I
I
don't know
wrote the
about
song
you.
for him. Like when we're
yeah, no,
going through things, I was like, see, everything looked cheesy to me. I was like, wow, this
Exactly.
is. At the end of the day, my summary of the whole episode was a bunch of accusations that we didn't really. There was no foundation,
Right.
and a lot
Then
of
for Shereé
action
to
here.
say somebody just dropped it off. Like who? "Oh, somebody just dropped it off." Like, come on.
when you probably need some sort of call from the gates before anyone can get in. Like, come
Yeah,
on. And
Exactly.
Exactly.
also, let's think
Sherry,
about it. Why did
right there,
ask
lying.
why did Andy ask Shereé and Marlo if they had anything on this issue? Because he knew beforehand, in my opinion, and allegedly. Because it doesn't make any sense. How do you all of a sudden, from all the cast, you're like, oh, Shereé, what do you have? Like,
Yeah, and
seriously,
did you see the part that Ralph kind of said it was her assistant that literally first started the rumor about um Drew and Ty,
yes,
and
I
she
saw
didn't
that.
believe until even Kenya and Kandi said yes, it was your assistant.
Yeah.
Yeah, but guess what? It could have come from Ralph. That is what Drew is saying. Because she lives with this man, she knows who this man is. It's the same man that has been getting Courtney to be his mouthpiece. It is
So do
not
you
far
feel like
fetched
Ralph
that
paid the
man.
assistant to spread the rumors?
Yes, I feel like Ralph did not have to pay the assistant.
Are we
The thing
giving
is,
Ralph too
I
much
feel,
of
mm,
wait,
I
recaps.
personally,
Are we giving Ralph too much of of importance? Because
that man
to go
is.
to a stretch of saying that he paid the assistant to spread that
I don't
gossip,
even
I would
I don't
believe
think he
Courtney's own,
paid him.
but
I don't think he paid him. I think he gave Ralph. I personally think Ralph is smart enough. Let's just put allegedly first of all. I feel Ralph is smart enough to not even pay the assistant. If you know someone is a gossip monger, all you have to say is a little, put the seed, plant the seed, honey, and he will run with it. You don't got to do much. It's the same way Courtney is running all around town, speaking to whoever cares to listen about Drew. So it's not far fetched. And if you also think about the fact that Allison said he was also trying to do the same thing with her. So if we think about that, this is not just one person. If you think about it as a collective, it is not far fetched that he would also throw a little dart here and there to the assistants.
But according to Candy, then when they were shooting in her
Assistants
house, then you
just
said,
doesn't. As I said, assistants repeated it and said it all around town, but that does not mean it came from originally from the assistants. That's what I'm trying to clarify. And I think that's what Drew was trying to say. It doesn't mean it came directly from. It's like, for instance, if I wanted to spread a rumor and I know this person talks too much, all I gotta say is, "Oh my god, you think there's something between this person?" You throw in little things here and there. You coach them. Oh, there's an echo, I think. You coach them before long. It's the same way Courtney is always talking everywhere. Like, Courtney has said way more than Ralph has said, but we know it came from Ralph. And I think that's exactly what it is. He's just trying to play coy now. Did you also pick up, I don't know if we're moving on, but did you also pick up that when Drew said he gets blowjob in, should I even use the word? I don't know. Is YouTube gonna ban us? In different cities or whatever,
Oh, all around the world, huh?
all around the world,
and
honey.
and he said, I haven't traveled around the world.
He did not deny it. He
No,
could
he
not
did.
with a straight face deny it because
Yeah, he said that. The only thing he said that is not possible.
he said that ish, in my opinion.
He
So
looked guilty. He looked
he
guilty.
did from the beginning
No,
until the
he
end
was
of the
guilty.
episode. He's guilty. And he knows that Drew wants the marriage, so she's not going to completely out him.
Yeah, he knows that's the problem. He knows that Drew still wants to be in this marriage. He knows that Drew still wants to stick around. So he's using that against her. But my
Uh-huh.
own issue is watching this episode, I still question myself. What the hell does she still want in this relationship?
I think
It's
it's the, her parents were married for so many years. She really wants to feel like she's her identity upon being married to an extent. And I think, like you said, she spent all of her 30s with this man. I think she feels like, what's she gonna do? Where's she gonna start
I
from?
feel it's because of the money, not even
No,
because of
Drew
her
has
parents.
money. Drew has money. She collects royalties from all of the things that she has done.
Then
Drew
how much are those
don't need to spend.
royalties? The
What do you,
royalties might not even be much. How many?
bro?
Let's be
They're not
truthful.
much. They're
How
not
many?
much. I know someone who gets royalties and they get a whole bunch of checks, and some of the checks are like 4 cents, 12
Oh, wow.
cents, $1.80. Yeah, they're
Oh
not
wow.
much.
Yeah, but the thing is, what is that person's catalog like? Is it something where there is a list of stuff? Because Drew has a list of stuff that she's done, right?
That's a
And
good
Like
point.
what?
Has
there's a list
anybody
What
of,
has
because
anybody
what
looked
has
up their
Drew
net
drawn?
worth?
I think I've only watched the only
let,
movie I've
let me
literally
go.
seen
'Cause
Drew in.
no, there's a lot actually. Because to be honest, I didn't even think she had done a lot, but I saw like a content creator or someone cover some of the things that she had done, and I was like, really, bro, I did not know all of this. So
I don't know what
we
she's
had
done either, and everybody keeps saying that.
exactly, that's the thing. I had to be like, wow, I did not really know her thing was long like that, like her resume. But it sounds like she's done quite a lot of stuff. So even if the royalties are crap, right? Like, a combination of a bunch of stuff, I think that girl is good enough. And also, we talk about Ralph, but how much exactly does Ralph have?
I don't know. Has anybody looked up
Exactly.
either one of their
Nobody knows
net
what
worth?
he does.
Has anybody
So
Googled
can
their net worth?
exactly. Is
Well,
that
he's
nobody really knows what he does?
well, he supposedly is a musician, right? I think that he said that he invented some sort of technology, for children for
Okay.
with music therapy or something. I believe that's what
Oh
someone said a
please.
few years ago. I
That's
don't know
that's
how
the
well it's doing.
that's the thing that Ralph and Drew were doing at some point.
I don't know
So I
if
don't
both of them were doing it or just him, but, he's an
that's what I
IT professional.
about. Yeah,
You're breaking up.
apparently his they said his net worth is nearly 2 million. That's what the internet is saying. And then Drew Sidora's one is $4 million.
So he's 92 million and she's four.
So according to the
Me,
internet, it says he's two, she's four.
the fact
He's
is that
two,
I don't
she's
always
four.
believe
That's
all
what I just.
this net worth about of this internet, because if we're talking
Of
about
course,
net
I
worth
don't
of
believe.
internet, Mattel is $20 million rich.
Wait a minute. Now you said
That's funny. Well, he's
Of
tight with his money
course,
then.
if you check on him, that's what it says about him. Latisha is about $20 million. Her business is worth $20 million. So if we're taking off net worth of the internet and the rest, there are some people that are supposed to be high ballers, and I know that they are not.
Hmm.
So I don't think I want to take off what I'm seeing on the internet. I want to take off from what I am seeing with my own eyes. Like I'm watching on you and I'm seeing that, not what I'm seeing on the. Because if by the internet, Martell is supposed to have had a lot of mansions, build a lot of house, and be, on his own and stop causing a mess for himself. But he's not.
wait a
He's
minute.
still
Did you
trying
say
to
a
chase.
bunch wait a minute. Did you say a bunch of mansions? Is that what you said? He has a bunch of
Yeah,
mansions?
yeah. He's supposed to be that. If we're going off the internet, he's supposed to have those things right now, you know. So,
Mm.
but he's there chasing after his
Was it
ex-wives to pay
was it
him money.
updated in was it updated in 2023? Because I'm trying to figure out. Was
Who's
it updated in 2023?
Mattel or Ralph?
Yeah, I'm
Whose
trying to
one are
figure
you talking
out if
about?
they said it. Mattel. Ralph's on some Mattel.
I
Mattel.
don't even.
Like, did they update it in 2023?
Oh, I don't even know. Let me check. Let me check on it right now whether it has changed.
So I just had like
Um,
a quick Google of this Drew Sidora thing. I can see that this year, aside past, she had two other movies. It looks like,
no,
and
no, I
then
know. I did check on it when you were talking right now. I checked on it. But the fact is, so many people do a lot of things. But the question is, do you know those things? Have you gone to watch those things? The only movie that right now I think I'm gonna watch of hers that she doesn't even have a big role on it is this film with
Rockstar.
Regina Rockstar. She's not really a main cast, but she's there. She doesn't have much a movie of substance that you'd be like, okay, fine. I know this of Drew, you know. And there are not even movies that I know that if she's collecting royalties over, I know that the money is gonna be big. It's movies that it's like an afterthought to people. Like I don't have any movie to watch. Let me just go ahead. These movies, I can say I don't think I've watched any except Step
Did
Up.
you say an
No,
afterthought?
What
which is
an
the truth. The only
afterthought.
movie I've watched here is Step Up, White Chick, and she was not even in Step Up. She was not like a main cast member in White Chick. She was not a main cast member. That is the only movie right here. Okay, and The Preacher's Son. That I know, okay, yes, these movies I do know them. I did enjoy watching them. Then The Past. The remaining of these movies, in short, some of them are even strange to me. I'm like looking at the names, I'm like, wow, is there a movie like this? So how much royalty can she even make from this kind of movies? Movies that most people don't even know. They don't sell like that. If she was in movies big names that we know, you'd be like, okay, fine. In 20 years, she will still be receiving large royalties from it. But these movies, I don't even see her making up to 1 cent from them. Because would you watch it?
uh-uh. Sister.
And then she got
One cent.
$10,000 to be in Candy's movie,
I'll
right?
give I'll I'll give her the 1 cent. Ah, that's funny.
No, that's the truth. I think Candy paid her well, $10,000. That was great
Mm-mm.
because
Wow.
No
considering
sis, no sis, no sis.
considering all these
No
movies
sis.
here, I'm being sincere. Considering all these movies here, I don't think she got any movie this rose that was close to $10,000. And these
Uh-uh.
movies
No,
are
you know
old
sis, no,
movies.
that's food money now. No, no, no,
I'm
no.
not, I'm not trying to be shady. I'm just
No, no,
being
sis. There's
truthful.
a little bit of shade in there, sis. There has to be.
I'm,
Like, it cannot be $10,000. Ah, for
I'm
all
not
that
trying
wahala.
to be.
No, sis.
I'm not trying to be.
But
Even
I
the
get what.
series that she has been on, she's either a guest or just one episode cast member.
Mm.
The only show that she's known prominently for is the Real Housewives. So whatever money she's getting, whatever million she's getting is from the Real Housewives. Nothing else. Then probably from the past because the past did well. So let's just see how it will go. But we know these kind of movies are movies that people don't really stay long watching. So after a while, people will stop watching all these kind of movies. They are not like hot commodity movies that you be like okay, the Barbie now, Barbie. People go back and watch Barbie over and over and over again. So at the end of the day, I don't know. But I feel like she still wants to be with Ralph. And the way she was like singing the song, still looking at him with all the love in her eyes. I was disappointed a little bit. I was disappointed. I was really disappointed, especially when she was singing the song. No, she the way she held the mic, she was looking at him with love and still singing. I was like, baby girl, this man still knows you love him. Like,
That girl needs a whooping. Like she needs someone needs to shake her a little bit. Like, girl, wake up. This man is your enemy. Like he does not care about you. Like you were crying. He didn't even get up. He
yeah,
didn't.
But
Like
he got
Andy
up
was
during the
like, did
break.
you even Andy was like, did you even consider or think about getting up? I'm like, not Andy even like and you know Andy does not really like see it for Drew like that. But Andy was even the one trying to like step in a little bit. And also Kenya, I appreciated when Kenya actually spoke up for her. Because I think like it needed to be said. And I love how she wasn't rude or
I'm
anything.
sorry that Kenya is the only
Yeah,
person that has Drew's back in that place. The
100%. Like if
rest,
anything, she needs to be Kenya's friend and drop everyone else.
yeah, drop
But
everyone,
she's too
Candy
naive.
and the
She'll
rest.
probably still be begging friends with Candy.
She's still she knows
Yep.
she needs those connects that Candy has. So
Yeah, don't worry. Candy will forgive her. She just needs to give it time.
They act like Candy was the mob because she had what 10,000 followers. You know what I'm saying?
but the
I,
thing
I,
is that the way all of them are always trying to be Candy's friend, trying to be loyal to Candy, I asked myself, can't you make a way for yourself? Because Candy made a way for herself. She made a name for herself. She got to where got to without having to be kissing ass with
Well, you don't know that.
anybody.
You don't know that. She just didn't kiss it on the show. Maybe. I'm just saying.
Probably,
I'm
probably.
just saying. So now
Yeah, you're
people,
right.
do you know what I mean? So, but it doesn't take the fact, it doesn't take away from the fact that she's accomplished so much for herself, and they should be taking notes. Like, I see why people
Yeah,
want to be her friend, because when you have a friend like that, then even if you don't see them as, okay, hook me up with your friend or whatnot, or give me this opportunity, you just see them as a resource. Like, if you think about how Kandi was trying to help Shereé
Yeah.
with the business, but Shereé just
Mhm.
ain't got no sense, right? Like,
Right.
having a friend like Kandi who has done certain things is always helpful, because if you need to do certain things, you can pick up the phone and call Kandi. Kandi, I'm thinking of this. What do you think? Right? And she can give you solid business advice. So I think
Sure.
it's always beneficial to have a friend like that. But I think that's why, even beyond the networking, I think that's why they want to keep Kandi as a friend. But I think at the same time, at some point, you have to have some self respect. If this person
thank
ain't
you.
checking for you like that, it's not by force. Like, just take a step back and just focus on your, and maybe naturally you guys will become friends. Because think about it, Candy and Kenya were never really friends like that. It's only more of recent development, right? So these things do
Right.
happen. So just let it happen naturally, as opposed to
I, I,
forcing.
I prefer Candy and Kenya's relationship because Kenya, even if she's friends with Candy, she still knows where to draw the line.
She
She
still
still
speaks
knows where
up.
to be like, you know what, sis, I'm not in for this thing you work for. Like she knows when to draw the line between Kenya and Candy.
I agree. I agree. I
So
think
that's
Kenya
why.
has always been good at that. Kenya has always been good at that. Like, knowing when to
Well,
draw the line. Even when she was friend with Cynthia, she knew where to draw the line. I think she has healthier boundaries than most people. Let's put it that way.
yeah, she knows how to draw brand. She knows how to keep boundaries.
Am I the only
She
one who
knows.
was so annoyed by Sanya this reunion? I was like, why are you interrupting? Like, when Sanya was trying to speak up for Marlo
For Marlo,
about the Marlo and Candy situation, I was like, girl, shut up. Why do you keep interrupting? And this is the thing. This is why her and Candy will probably almost always have issues, because if you're not taking my side, shush. Let me speak to who I'm speaking to, right? Or you're not bringing
yeah.
clarity to the situation. Instead, it sounded like she was bigging up Marlo and saying, "Oh, it's about Marlo's feelings, Marlo's feelings," and it's like, okay, and you know what I mean? Like, so that really annoyed me. And I was just like, it also seemed like Sanya was looking for a moment. I think she was trying to secure that peach for the next season.
At the
And
end of the day, all of them were trying to secure the pitch for next season.
100%.
But Ralph
Sheree
got a
was definitely working overtime for that peach.
You
yeah.
said Ralph?
Ralph got a peach.
Yeah. Mhm.
Oh my god. Ah,
and and Courtney
I
got the
think
plum.
Oh, you
I
Yeah.
guys
think
kept
like
saying that you didn't know what Courtney's role was going to be this season. She came through in the end. She came through, right?
Okay, but I gave her the right name, Messy Boots, right?
Yes, you did.
Mhm.
You did.
Hmm.
Fake
You called
cousin.
it
Yeah,
episodes ago. I don't know how you knew that was coming.
I just seen it. I read her body language.
The
I'd seen that
voice.
she needed something to hold on to. As soon as she stepped into the gum, she said, "That's it. I'm gonna spread this gum everywhere. Everybody gonna step in it." She's messy.
And also, she's a crisis manager. So
Oh
if you're a
shit.
crisis manager, I'm just saying, you know how to clean up crisis, and you know how to create it, in my opinion. So she knew
Yeah,
exactly
I
what
would
she
hate to get her on the phone if I'm in the middle of a crisis. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Shoot,
yeah.
everything you tell her, she's gonna hold it against you.
Can and will be used against you. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
but
Also, I
with
think you
now
were going to say something.
now yeah, I was like now that the reunion is over, Would you guys be interested in another season with the same cast, or a reboot, or a total scrapping of the show?
Okay. I don't think it's total scrapping of the show is the way to go. I think they need to try different things because what they're doing is clearly not working. I think they need to remove certain people. I'm not one to, say people need to lose their jobs, but I think the peach needs to be removed from some people's hands, in my opinion. And so I feel like they need to keep certain people like Drew. They need to keep Kenya because Kenya can get activated for the right people. So if they bring like Kenya works better when there's a nice assemble of cast, right? And so I think they should keep Kenya and give her better cast. Bring back Portia. Bring a few people on the show. Eva is never gonna come back on the show, so let's forget about that. Um, but I think they can keep some of the current cast, but then bring some new people and then be trialing it. So I think part of also what they should do, I don't want to see Marlo. I don't know if I said that, but I don't want to see Marlo. Let's just be clear. Let me just, for the avoidance of doubt. But I think if they, Monyetta did not really bring much to the show,
No,
right?
no,
She
she
brought the
didn't.
fashion at the reunion, but that was it.
And
So
well,
I think
she was the pot stirrer.
she needs to go back. She needs to go back to being a friend of the show. I think it's better that way. I think Sanya needs to be a friend of the show as well. A friend of the show too. I don't know. I don't even want Shereé there. Because I feel like Shereé is manufacturing beef. Shereé does not necessarily have an issue with Kandi, but to make herself relevant this season, she has created some beef, in my opinion. And so, for that reason, I don't want manufactured beef. I want actual, authentic, real life. So Shereé can stay home in her chateau mansion. But yeah, that's what I think.
Well, I think maybe they should, if they want to, go ahead and keep the cast that you have, but put them in sets of four. If they're not bringing in the ratings, then hey, you got four more other people before the season is over to to
Musical
introduce us
chairs.
and yeah, and get us familiar.
Hmm, fair enough.
What about you, ShopRite?
Well, definitely, I want Candy to leave. I don't. Hopefully, she doesn't come back. I'm hoping since they have renewed that show that they had previously canceled and put it on Peacock. Hopefully, that's their way to kind of move her on off the show. And I like that question. Do you guys think that Shereé wrote that question, or they just put Sheree's name on it? I didn't get that. Was she the one who had submitted that question about Candy? She doesn't work as much as the girls, and she's not available, and why is she still on the show? Did you guys hear when
I
Andy
think she
asked that question?
did. I think
Yeah,
You
she
think
sounds
she
like
did?
did.
something
Yes,
she.
because the way she sat
Hmm.
there, like she was waiting for an answer. I think that was a very good question. It's like, why are
Hmm.
you still here? And then for her to say that the comment she made about Shereé, and then Shereé said, "Well, the show has been lackluster. They keep asking me back." That was a good point. I
But they
want
keep
Candy to
firing
go.
you though.
Say that again.
I said they keep firing her though, so it must not be that great. Just
I
saying.
like
Like,
Shereé. I like her. But did you notice at the end, why did they defer to her and ask her the final question? Since you're the OG of the show, what do you? And I was thinking, why would they ask her, to close out the show? And I kind of felt bad for Kenya because she's just sitting there and I'm wondering if she's thinking, okay, the writing is on the wall now at this point. I can see that they are going in another direction. They seem to be going younger. They're trying to make Drew the focus of this show. And I'm just sitting here with no storyline. They didn't show any of my footage, nothing
Right.
about my show opening, my salon opening, nothing. They gave her nothing. And she's just
Yeah.
sitting there in that ill fitting dress. And I kind of felt bad for her. because of the comments that she made about Nene years ago. Oh, they wanted Nene off the show, whatever. And now look at you. You're at this point now where they really don't have much use for you unless you do come back and you do start mess like you used to. But she's probably tired of starting mess. But anyway, Kandi, I want Kandi gone. Kenya really doesn't bother me, but she's going to have to come up with a better storyline. And Drew, it looks like Drew is the future of the show, even though I really don't care for her and her husband. I think it was kind of with the drama that they brought up. I think it was kind of calculated. Something about it just does not seem quite authentic. But she seems to be the face of the show. But Kandi is the main person that I would not like to have back. And bring in somebody else, and not Monyetta, but somebody else who can, carry the show. And now I would like to see this whole dynamic with Courtney. I mean, Courtney and this Ralph thing, like, is there something going on or not? I would like to explore that. Hopefully there isn't, but if there is, that would be something. Did you guys see what Drew posted today? She reposted the post about them in the dressing room and about Courtney leaning in. And then she said that something to the effect that Courtney did live in Tampa at one point.
Yes, I
You
saw
guys
it.
saw that?
I saw
What do
Mm-mm.
you
it.
think about that? What do you think?
I'm not surprised. The funny thing is,
Wow.
I heard about it. I'm not sure where, but I heard someone say something along those, like a content creator say something along the lines of that, even before Drew said it. So I'm sure people were in her DMs providing her the proof, and that's why she said what she said. But yeah, she, to be honest, the way they hugged was a bit too close for comfort, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Like, I don't hug none of my cousins like that. It's the church hug, honey, all the way to the church. So I decide, like, especially if it's of the opposite sex, that's just not how I roll.
Right.
And so
And the
for me,
fact that
especially
he's
a
giving
married person as well. Mm-mm.
Yeah, and he's feeding her all of this information, like, about their marriage and telling her all these things. So that's why I'm wondering, is this storyline authentic? Like, why would he tell her all of this stuff? She gets on camera, she says all of this stuff, she keeps saying all of this stuff. So it's like either this is something like really sinister going on, or is this all just a plot that they have created or that Todd set up? Who knows?
I
Yeah,
said,
but Candy and Todd, they need to go. Move on. It's
Yeah.
just Candy just keeps bringing the same thing every season.
Yeah, I think she probably needs to be on pause. And then
Yes, on something. Yeah, off of the
on
show.
pause, because like if she's on pause and then comes back the next, whenever she does come back, I feel like it gives them a little bit of a fire. When you're put on pause, then you have to come bring it harder the next time whenever you do get your next opportunity. I feel like maybe they need to start doing that, like recycle who they're gonna put on pause for for a few. If you don't bring it, you go on pause, you go on timeout for a couple of seasons and then you come back later. But
well, for me, I feel like I like Shopwreck said, I don't care for Candy being on the show again.
yeah,
I also don't care for I don't need to, I'm not interested in Drew's story because I also don't believe that it's that authentic. I feel like it's just like it's not too real for me. There's something that is missing in that storyline. So I don't care for Drew. So I can do without Candy, I can do without Drew, I can do without Shereé. I could manage Sanya, I could manage Marlo, and I could manage Kenya. So they should bring in new people. If they want to bring in new people, fine. You don't want to bring in from the old cast, the interesting ones, because we know the interesting ones. They know the interesting ones. But I don't know the problem with Bravo. They
they don't want
should
to
bring
pay.
those. You said?
They don't want to pay, in my opinion.
Oh, they should bring those interesting ones to the show. But I would hate to see Kenya being fired because she has thrown a lot of jabs at Nini. It's been so bad after all those jabs being thrown, we ended up being fired like her too.
Mm.
So let's just see how that will go.
I just think Bravo's missing the mark. The name of the show is called Housewives of Atlanta. You got one housewife going through a divorce, and then you got one that's married. Everybody else is single.
Mm. Hmm. Yeah.
I guess they don't have much housewives in Atlanta.
I think they do, but people don't want to put their marriage on blast. I think that's probably
Yeah.
because people don't want, like, most people know that if they publicize it, then everyone will be like, leave your man, leave him, he's this, he's that. And so people don't want to do that. They'll rather just, you know, patch it up because they ain't ready to live.
Well, I guess not, but
I think we've covered everything. Does anybody have anything to add up before go off?
Um, to be honest, the only thing I was gonna say was subscribe to all of our channels, please. Thank you so much for hanging with us. And this is the end of Real Housewives of Atlanta. I'm sure we're all like relieved.
Finally.
I know I am. I'm really excited that this is over now. For now, anyway, because I just feel like I'm ready for the break from this dry ass show. So yeah, that's my little 2 cents.
Yeah. So guys, don't forget to subscribe to our individual channels. We have reviews and recaps. We have Unfiltered, so we also have ShopRite TV. You can go to our YouTube channel, subscribe, like, and comment on our videos, guys. Very, very much appreciated. Well, thank you for joining us on today's final recap of Love. Sorry, I said Love. The Real Housewives of Atlanta. We'll see you guys next time.
See you later.
Bye.
bye,
Bye.
ladies.
Bye. Bye.